This is Sophie Heller, and this is an SAT short paired passage question. This passage is asking us which of the following statements is supported by both passages. So questions like these are really challenging because social media is something we encounter in our daily lives. So it's really easy to pull in your own opinions or something you've read, but you want to remember we're just looking at what's in the passage. So even if it makes sense in terms of social media and its impact on our lives, you only want to put it if it's in these 25 lines. So let's look at our passages. So passage 1 is telling us that the society has turned to the internet for social communication. There are many ways to do it. There's Facebook, MySpace doesn't really exist anymore, or neither does AIM, but for example. And it's telling us that maybe the internet, because it's so anonymous, it leads to a degree of confidence we don't have in real life. And it's saying that opportunities for socializing online are constantly growing. So we see it's a pretty neutral passage. I'd say it's talking about social communication happening more and more on the internet. So let's look at passage 2. Passage 2 is talking specifically about a certain type of networking, which is microblogging. And it says that users, even though they're interested in social connection, there are a lot of ways in which microblogging can be practically useful. It talks about vote report, and it talks about citizens using social media to assert control. So it's about microblogging, and it's an unusual application. And it's going to take forever to write, but let's write it anyway. Unusual application. Okay, so now we want to look at our choices and see what's reflected in both passages. So we want to make sure they're going to try to trick us with things that are just in passage 1 or just in passage 2. Let's just make sure it's in both. So choice A, social media is damaging to personal relationships. Passage 2, we don't see anything about personal relationships. We just see microblogging, we see practical applications. Passage 1 talks about social relationships, but it's saying that maybe the internet gives us more confidence, and maybe it's superficial and fleeting, but it's not necessarily damaging. So I'd say that this choice A is somewhat in passage 1, but definitely not in passage 2. Choice B, the prevalence of social media is something our society has to adjust to. That's true, because it's saying that blogging, gaming, and networking sites multiply, there are more opportunities, so definitely in passage 1. And passage 2 is saying that there are a lot of different ways to use this microblogging, and news sources are increasingly politically controlled, but these micromedia sources are something that we can use to bypass that. So I think I see that in both, so let's keep that. Choice C. Despite its many drawbacks, there are some ways the internet improves personal relationships. Passage 2 does not talk about personal relationships. And passage 1, yeah, we have improved confidence, but since it's not in passage 2, it's not good. Choice D, the benefits of internet connections outweigh the disservice they do to personal relationships. Again, personal relationships is only mentioned in passage 1, and we don't know. It's saying that, yeah, there's some drawbacks, there's some good things, but we don't really have an overall judgment about benefits outweighing disservices. And E, the anonymity of the internet encourages confidence. We see that almost verbatim in passage 1, but remember, it's not in passage 2, so that's not good. So choice B is our answer.